enforce reality. I'm not trying to just paint an image here or paint what's happening to me. It just also gives me strength to understand what it is. Because I get to see these clowns in person, and then it's showtime. It's time to see how reality collides with this fictional reality. For me, I just want to put that in their faces so they understand that if I react the way I need to react, I've warned you. And you wanted me to be this mentally retarded. What you're going to find out in this program, if you're a target individual, there's going to be all kind of participants. Some of them are actually children. You're going to hear in this video a woman called Ella. Actually from New York. She's new. She's somebody, an executive. She was an executive and somebody who was established in New York. And then she was put in the program. Now since then, life has been destroyed. And now she lives in hotels and whatnot. But, she can afford that because she was able to be successful in life. And but she's somebody who's vocal. I think the reason why she became successful in her life is just because she was not like a pushover. She was just always vocal. In this video, you can see her in the hotel. Once again, another hotel where she deals with the same things. And she calls out the fact that it's like even children involved in what's happening to her. That's something that you hear commonly in this program as a target individual, that you'll see child-like participant. For me, it's even worse. Because they use this childlike participant to try to gaslight me. They don't gaslight me. They just try to push me into a mental retardation state. And at the same time, I think what's happening is this. They are understood that nobody wants to be harmful to children. So let the children do the disgusting things. And so the target individual is not going to be quick to react in an aggressive way. Another thing is, if we let this childlike participant go first, let's break his mental state down, make him so mentally retarded that makes sense. Then we can come in and make sense of it. What you're seeing here is an example of some of the clowns around here. These little retards don't even understand how much they detest. For me, it's the thing that disturbs me the most is like they're growing up understanding that we are children who are going to use this idioticity to make sense of some of the most disgusting thing you can imagine. Disgusting, like not even just regular disgusting to a level that is just disturbing. And they just try to normalize it and just blur it out, like blur the level of foulness they're in. It's a foulness that's just not just like, a child doing something bad. No. It's a foulness that is supreme, systematic, and foul to a core that you can understand. First of all, they know that they're involved in something that harms children. They call it war already, this shit. Know that we have to find ways to normalize what we're part of, okay? Harming children is part of the war. That's the consequences of war. These trash are not in war. If you see what they were looking at, okay, there's child soldiers in the world. This is not that. It's part of the stupidity that I'm supposed to be digesting. The thing with them is they have also this entitlement of childlike, because the people encouraging them have this entitlement too. So they don't understand the consequences. You do this to somebody's going to do something to you. It doesn't work where you just do whatever you want. Your childishness is going to negate the horror that you're part of. No. For me, I'm going to make sure that this is handled accordingly. It's very facilitated evil. That's why children participate in this program. That's why when Ella goes and she sees children participate, it's because it's orchestrated in a way that anybody can participate. That's why Ella calls her the fact that children, because this is a program that makes it even the most unoppressive individual can partake. Now, I knew that this is something commonly said by the target individual. They will say like whole family will be involved in this. With me, they will try to make me think that because they're child-like individual involved in this is not something that torture children and women. Even though I've already heard and testimonials of others saying the same thing, describing exactly what's happening to me. But in fact, some people they got lost in the fictional aspect of things, that they thought this next door neighbors or 14-year-old kids were the one doing that to them. Literally saying that. And to think that when you don't see them, it's even worse. Because once you see who's trying to gaslight you, and you look how fucking vulnerable and nothingness they are, it's like comical. Like, you don't even understand. Should I laugh or should I cry? This is so retarded. Look at this little clown trying to make me subscribe to this stupidity. They want me to think in such a simple matter is mentally retardation. It's not even just simple thinking. It's pure mental retardation. It's pure mental regression. And two, they also want to distract me from who's really behind this program. Am I supposed to think what you see over there is like a blur of what? I wish I could remove that blur so you can see how stupid they want me to be, to think that somebody like that is doing whatever they're saying they're doing in regard of like researching. It's so pathetic. It's scary. I wish I could just show what they look like. Those who want me to believe that they're just different programs that do some researching of this kind, this type of tortures, and this that they're different. It's their money and their reason. That listen to what I have to say. You see them as just an exploited. When you see this like this, you're just a exploited dumbass who doesn't understand the consequences of being involved in something like that. You don't know what people can do for what you do. What you're doing to people can cost life. But you don't expect none of it to happen to you. They don't even have that concept, because there's people who don't even, grown-ass men and women, who don't even have this concept too. That you do these harmful things to people, people are going to do harmful things to you. That's how it works. You shouldn't be shocked if I was doing something that was destructive to you, or I say something that's very threatening or warning of some horror things, and I deal with some of my co-workers, where they will say, yeah, they're going to skew you, they're going to do this and that. And I'm like, if I saw you and you told me that in my face and you want me to do nothing to you, when you tell me how I'm going to be stabbed and killed and do this and that, and you're involved in that, and you are surprised that I have hatred and anger and I will want to harm you, and you don't understand the concept that you tell me I'm going to be tortured and stabbed and this and that, but you're involved in that, and you want me to not do anything to you, or think I shouldn't even think about doing something to you. That shows how disconnected from reality. No, if I did something like that, where I'm like, oh, they're going to kill you, they'll stab you, you're going to split in two, they'll be sawn in half, and the guy will respond to me, he's like, what? I won't be like, oh my gosh, what? Don't wait. I have coworkers that do these things. Some of them little pathetic little things like, what? Do you know if you say that in front of me like that, I don't know how I'll react? Can you die too? That's the kind of entitlement that's encouraging this childlike participant. And this childlike participant think, oh, we can do these disgusting things to people, foulness, then send the most regress-minded person to try to rationalize these things and make you identify with this. And there's a lot of target visual, there's a lot of childlike participant. This you will notice it. You will, if you deal with V2K, voice to skull, now you're gonna hear people who claim who say that there is people who sound like middle schoolers. Literally say that, like literally children. Try to agitate you, even adults, to start sounding regressed. Like grown men and women start interacting with you with the rationality of freaking children, because they're gaslighting you. Try to sound even serious, but saying the most stupid thing to make you identify with this. These tactics are just part of gaslighting you, to make your brain so regress that this obvious disgustingness that's being forced onto you is internalized. It doesn't take a genius to realize that this is what they're doing. And then, on top of that, they want to behave like they make sense and just look at you like they make noise campaign, like they didn't make you have this disgusting manipulation. This is what just happened to me, right? They're making me have some disgusting imagination. Nothing new. They've done that for years. Since August 2019, that's what they've been doing to me, disgusting me in this different disturbing ways, and then try to gaslight me. What they do is like they make me have this imagination that you're gonna hear others have been forced to experience. Then make noise campaign of this aggressive nature, of this loud nature, to just try to make you think, oh, we just saw that, we caught you, we just observed that, right? Some of them just at one point they were like, oh, we busted, we're gonna report this, let's go report, and they run somewhere like they act like they're gonna report somewhere. Rushing, rushing it to some place like, what the it's like, and you realize, oh, they're doing that to just try to act like, the reason why they do that is clear. But acting this way is supposed to make you think that you're not being manipulated, but to just observe this. Very kind of childlike, brainwashing, gaslighting tactic. But it functions because everybody around you does it. And they behave like, oh my gosh. Some of them like, oh my gosh, I'm so disgusted. When they're putting these disgusting things into you to make you imagine this way. Brainwashing 101. Make you internalize what they make you have than what they make you experience. It's like me putting drug on you. Then you see the drug and I'm like, oh my God. Every day, that's what all they do. Make me imagine these disgusting things. Then run around and act like, oh my gosh, a children, a little girl. See, when they're the one forcing you to have imagination of this nature. Then when you're able to call out what they are, they just try to change their tone of voice. It's like, oh, we're done, we killed, it's over. It's like they try to create this like infantile closure where like, oh, it's over. Things have been over a long time ago. They've been doing the same thing systematically. Once you put in this program, really thinks this life is basically destroyed, dismantled. They just don't like to be. They don't like you to say out loud what they do. So, for example, I'm making this video right now. They tell me how things are done. Why are they saying that to me right now? To let me know that things are done? Nope. It's because they want me to stop being able to articulate what they do to me, because it kind of messed with the little mistake they wanted to have. The impact of just like, oh, he's able to say literally what we're doing because it's obvious. I'm not this psychoanalyst who's able to, it's just clear. Right? And then once you're able to articulate what they do to you, they just try to like, oh gosh, it's like, yeah, he's just, yeah, it's like, yes, because it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. And others have said the same tactics are being utilized to attack your mind. They do this nasty thing. One thing is known is they do this pedophilia type of torture, which they do that systematically. You have children like this trash that you see over there try to gaslight you. What you're going to hear here clearly shows a pattern of how they attack your mind. And you have a clown like that who's supposed to negate that. And I deal with what you call voice to call. You're going to hear that. And when I hear voice to call, you should hear. I wish I could record some of the ways they use their tonality to just kind of negate it, counter it. You're going to hear Mariana describe what voice to call is. When they pipe these voices onto your brain via this technology, you then hear, for me, sometimes this different tonality they use. They try to sound very menacing at times. They try to be very agitating at times. And sometimes they try to be like condescending in just like high school way. Like, oh, it's over. We did. It's like try to like, kind of, how can I describe that? Trying to, like, just condescending way to just like, oh, it's like, when somebody's trying to prove you that you're just try to dismiss something, not even dismiss, because I say dismiss, they try to change it to something else. How they, how like high school kids, or like they try to be like annoying and try to, like, for example, when a child is trying to tell their father that they did their homework but they didn't do their homework. But you want to be convincing, it's like, Dad, I just did it. I did my homework. But they didn't do it. But they make themselves talk like that. That's what they're doing. So you have this childishness in the program that is always happening. Even the condescending ways that is part of how they try to distract you. I recognize this. They're making the effort to sound like that. right? And I take it as that. Okay, that's the tone you chose to use right now. Okay. And the confidence they have is not a real confidence. It's something that they, and for me, I strip away that little mistake they wanted to have. Right? I know that they're just some childlike participant in a machine ran by the government. So these little clowns that are nothings find themselves feeling a little special being involved in something that anybody can participate, inclusive of children, younger children. So it takes away from the little empowerment they get, intoxicate, because they want to really, the target individual, they want you to see them in this mistake way. Sometimes they call them, they do that to annoy me, but there's a time where they want him to really view them as just such a grand way, like, oh my God, it's like a little retard the government contracted. I know the program is very sophisticated and advanced. They don't need sophisticated advanced individuals. Hence the reason why there's children that can do what you do, or children younger than you if you're a child. I know. If there's a God here, it's these governmental entities. You're just some trashing retards who to make yourself talk like that, thinking that's what's going to make it not happen. And I say the word dismiss, they try to like create mental battles. This is the technology that's advanced. Yes, this is the God, if you call God, which is not God. It's technology at the highest level used as a weapon. Now for me, let me show you how stupid they want me to be. They made me have, once again, they do this, they've been doing that a lot. Actually, lately, they haven't been doing it as much as when they used to do it after like August 19, 2019. Shortly after that, it was bad. You're going to see, like, this is the things they do. But when this started with me, these thoughts were every day in the more degrading way. And it was so disgusting. They were making me imagine disgusting sexual acts with children, young children. Even babies, like literally infants, toddlers, and so disgusting. It was imagination that almost pushed me into insanity, almost pushed me to suicide. Which is what this technology is for at this point. It's weaponized. It's like a cognitive warfare that you're just a test subject to. And find the best tactics to do this and that. This is not actual warfare. We are just a test subject to this technology that's utilized as a cognitive warfare weapon. It's utilized as a weapon onto us for the purpose of developing and improving this technology and these tactics. We're like guinea pigs. The technology is so advanced that anybody can partake. That's why children can participate in this. And when they do these horrible things to women and children, the way these children try to negate us, it's a warfare. No, you're not in any warfare. You're just helping develop this technology that can be utilized in warfare. We're just the guinea pigs. You're involved in the human subjects aspect of this warfare. You're not in the warfare. You're involved in something where you are just helping develop this technology against people who are helpless, inclusive of women and children. And people like you can come in all shape. This purpose can come in different, like the fact that children can be participant, that just shows the level of advancement. Now, the tactics are simple. How can we make this person internalize this, accept this thing as if it's not something we do? For me, I have different aspects of people. I have my coworkers. I have people who are more serious, employed, executive, or all sorts trying to gaslight you. It's funny. They actually, for them, it's better more of a struggle to make themselves dumb. Because they're grown men and women, so they don't like to feel that they're stupid. Some do. Some flourish in that. Some are really good in that. Others are just like uncomfortable with that. But they're going to have to play the game. They're going to have to be the gimmicks. Some of them just internalize it, immerse it in this, and create this fictional aspect of it like it's real. Really, they don't care how stupid it sounds. They're just like, this is life. It's like a way to just like method act. Others just take it as what it is. I'm gonna be a clown, so he can see that he doesn't need to like, or she doesn't need to be like, oh, this is real. We're gonna make it. I'm gonna be the clown because it's part of the game. And I'm gonna, I know, I will not immerse myself in this stupidity. I know what I'm doing. I want him to subscribe to this. I'm gonna play the clown. This is how we attack this. This is how we attack the mind. That's that. That's our meanness. Others like, no, this is real. It's real. And so then you have the childlike participant. What they do with this childlike participant is like actually, it's scary how actually calculating they are. They understand that they are children, and they understand that as children, the state of mind is of a children. So they understand that I'm going to be the child with the regressed mind that I have. And because I'm a child, this should make sense to me because my mind is so childish. That when I say that, I'm truly believing that, when in reality, they know that this is what they do. And they understand that as children, people can see them as mentally regressed. And can use that to try to gaslight me. They were making me imagine this disgusting thing. Okay? So these babies that they make me see, like they love to bring the little kids and then they're like, oh my gosh, I just saw you experience this stimulation. Right? That's part of gaslighting. They manipulate you, then look like they just looked at something and like, oh my gosh, they look at their phones like, oh God, what you do? Not even what you just experienced when you saw my child. Gimmicks. And pedophilia is quite the norm in this fucking disgustingness. Now, I don't know, is it correlation that the entities are truly a part of, like, truly create the creator of this machine, owners of this machine, of this program, actually are top tier child porn traffickers. And there's a strong issue of pedophilia. In this program, as a target individual, there's a lot of psychological game, cognitive warfare type of tactics. For example, as I was making this video, the one thing they love to do is just bombard you with emotion and stimulation that I'm almost like disconnected with. Even if I have like a little emotional, I understand the concept of what they're doing. Because this here proved the fact that this childlike participant is nothing new. It's part of the program. It's a kind of way to just kind of break you down into accepting this thing. I get these messages with somebody I was supposed to be, like in like some bad news. Really not bad news. I was not that attached with this person, but tell me the things that it's not going to work out. I was like, okay, I feel a little disappointment, but I know it's not anything serious because by tomorrow I'll forget about it, right? But there is a concept of just trying to psychologically break you down and utilizing different tactics to make you identify with this manipulation. And these childlike participants are part of that. And what they want me to intake and identify with is not being identified with. This nasty manipulation of the mind that forces a target individual to have this imagination that is this pedophilia-centric is commonly done. And they're even utilizing childlike participants who are commonly utilizing this program to make you mentally regress enough to identify with the things they do to others and make you subscribe to this. Some of the things they were trying to do is like, no, but remember what you did as a child. That's pedos. Like, this is coming from people who know how people who are known to be doing the pedophilia type of torture, who want you to be subscriptive of these current experiences that they're done to others, that is validated, that you hear clearly that this is so common, that this Robert Duncan interviewed 1,000 people who call themselves target individual, and almost all of them who deal with this manipulation of the mind are bringing up the fact they do this pedophilia type of torture, this imagination that's so degrading. But they want to surround you with different ways of disorienting you, making you out of touch with reality, confuse you enough so you just be subscriptive of this. Matter of fact, they will try to negate how these entities have so much issue with pedophilia. That how come so many like high-level governmental entities in the DoD, in these places where they do extreme level of investigation, will still allow people who clearly have pedophilia thing going on, where they download child porn, where they do these things to children, and still allowed to be working in this environment. That means that you just don't care about that as long as they're not any national security issue here. Now you have all these things that validate you, plus you know yourself. I'm not going to be gaslighted by a clown of that nature that you see here to try to make me identify with this disgustingness that all of a sudden started happening on August 19, 2019. And I'm supposed to think that this clown is very part of the investigative work. The reason why I make these videos is for me to reinforce reality as they try to recreate reality. I'm not subscriptive of these tactics. I understand it. Right now, as I was making it, it's funny. I was making this video, my phone died, and they tried to create some emotions. Okay, I expected that. And then the person that I get some message from somebody, and then this, I'm like, okay, I knew anyways that was going to go that way. It's, I was looking for this, but it's okay. It's not like, I'll be okay. This little emotional thing is just, I'm so immune to it at this point. But I understand the concept of what they're doing. As they manipulate you in these degrading ways, and they want you to be subscriptive of this stupidity, they really try to incorporate your emotions and kind of take you away from seeing things in the way that needs to be seen. Don't need to be very much a critical thinker here to see what's happening. But what you're going to see here is Ella, a woman from New York, a black woman with quite the resume, very successful black woman, who was put in this program, and now she's living hotel into hotel because she's trying to survive this. The best way to survive this is being mobile. It's to try to find ways to survive this. This is truly, you have a choice of just staying in, just being rotten in your apartment, or you can try to move around and try to find where things are going to be okay. She's a survivor. You clearly see her being the survivor that she is. She's outspoken. That's why she was successful. And she doesn't want to just lay down and die. She calls out the fact that not only you guys are doing this thing, but you haven't even children participate in this. She feel bad for this. I don't. Let them explode this trash. And so this was used at some point that, children are participating in that. You see? No, these children are participating in this program. They're known to this. Anybody can partake in this. And then they try to gaslight me to not think that this is what they do, that you're going to see next. The next video is what you've seen many times. This constant validation that they are attacking the mind in these degrading ways, forcing people to have this disgusting thought process, and then try to make you identify with this. And for me, because I'm not identified with this, they tell me how I'm going to be torturing these horrible ways, whatever horrible torture you think that's going to make me subscribe to that, I will have to run to that because it's my point to make sure that these losers, these trash, see themselves for the shit that they are instead of what they try to cover up. Like me, just stay strong. And just to add to this childlike participant are helping this other ecosystem to just recreate reality. For example, in this program, a lot of differences women are suffering, and one of the disgusting tools they're utilizing here is also rape. Ella is not getting that kind of torture. She's getting to poisoning, the direct energy. They're just destroying her health, just slowly, and psychologically breaking her down to lose her mind. But other target individuals deal with sexual tortures. And so this participant here, for me, wanted to paint this facade of avenging or protectors of women, and it's so disgusting. For me, my threats, I'm not threatening them, but I'm going to act accordingly. And if these clowns play this game around me, because some of them are playing rape victims, and they think that I'm going to let them method act this in front of me, like a child like that, involving something so diabolical, wanting her to play the justice seeker by playing a rape victim in a program that specializes in harming women sexually. No, my threats are just going to be according, and they try to make it sound like, you're threatening of sexual threat. No, they put these things together and I'm supposed to go by. No, what I'm going to do, if I'm going to do something, it's like a father disciplining a child. I don't want to be prideful to it, but if I slap a child trying to play a rape victim in front of me, that's doing a job of a parent, and that's the minimum. Now, their sexual threats that's what they threaten me. They tell me how I'm going to be sexually tortured. It's let's go. That's what they do in this program. But you're not going to paint yourself as a victim. And you're not going to paint yourself as a protector of women and children. And realizing these childlike trash are being exploited to gaslight me.
Weapons, I don't know.
Couple of things. I kept getting toxic smells in my room. I don't know what's happening in these rooms over here. It smells like paint. That's
yes,
coming.
It's a strong paint.
It's very strong.
I feel like nail polish. You smell that?
Yeah. That caused me to constantly have to open up my door to air out the room.
It smells like very strong, like it's very chemical.
Yeah. And your maintenance guy was also complicit in emitting toxic gas into my room. It was done on purpose. But what is most concerning about what you guys did is that you had young children involved in your scheme. When human trafficking is such a crisis in San Antonio, Best Western, Chris Hospitality, it's not ridiculous. I stay here, okay? And I think like your team are involved. Couple of things. I kept getting toxic smells in my room. I don't know what's happening in these rooms over here. It smells like paint. That's
yes,
coming.
It's a strong paint.
It's very strong.
I feel like nail polish. You smell that?
Yeah. That caused me to constantly have to open up my door to air out the room.
It smells like very strong, like it's very chemical.
Yeah. And your maintenance guy was also complicit in emitting toxic gas into my room. It was done on purpose. But what is most concerning about what you guys did is that you had young children involved in your scheme. When human trafficking is such a crisis in San Antonio, Best Western, Chris Hospitality, it's not ridiculous.
A paper to you, and there's another paper submitted to each member from another physician in Kansas City, alluding to the same thing.
You do that, you can control them using neuro-linguistic programming techniques. You're rewiring their thought processes and brains. And so this gets into what's called offensive information warfare. And they used it, I believe, in the Gulf War. You can call it a eugenics program even. But also walk them to their... They want to see if they can... Hyper game theory. How do you... They want to see if they can manipulate people to do things that are irrational, but also walk them to their death. And so you can call it a eugenics program even. And they need to sample all cultures, language throughout the world to define their probability matrices of which tricks, techniques, deception works. So how do you control a brain? Most people don't believe that. Well, you can't control me. I have my own free will.
V2K, or voice to skull. This involves the projection of voices, noises, and music directly into my mind to communicate with me in real time and at the speed of thought. And it also includes the manipulation of thoughts, emotions, and perceptions in the person's mind. Additionally, the targeting is all highly perverted and sexual, as well as just
It is dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophilia. This disgusting, disgusting, disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do it. I don't care. I don't know if it's through weapons. I don't know. I don't care.
This is a common breakdown tactic of belief systems and the human will. In no-touch torture, the techniques are more psychologically specialized for each target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds. And vice versa.
They use these monarch-style torture programs, like it's based on sex and trauma. So they're gonna traumatize you. They're gonna use your libido to get back at you, and
this technology can be used to sexually manipulate the target. It can make the target feel sexual arousal.
Experience what is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted dreams and form of torture. They coordinate the voice. I really mean extreme. I experienced an entire night with forced spontaneous orgasms repeatedly all through the night, one right after another, with maybe around 1 hour of sleep or so, as I lay immobilized in my bed.
In my mind, I can hear my own voice. I told them I'm going to make you pay for all of the years of torture that I've taken, and all you are going to me and my family. Ben said the slaves began a program of perversion. First was with my dog. I am very playful with my pet, and suddenly one day that I was petting him I felt strange, in the sense of the word. I thought, this is strange, and then afterwards that strange sensation continued. Then in that moment I realized that was impost, so I thought, look at this losers, don't know how to put me down, and they are doing this. So I told them that I know what you are trying to do, and I started laughing, and then I said again out loud, you'll never take my will, ass. So just to show them that I meant what I said, I kept playing with my dog, and even though that attacks continue, I don't let them get me. Today they continue with the programming of perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use of people, better said young people, also children and homosexuals. When I aggravated them I used able to impose any information on the brain of a person, presumably by some kind of waves, which in the mind take the form of voices, thoughts and images and imagination. In addition to this kind of implanting information that they need, they manipulate the psyche so that the information is written into your memory. Then by stimulating the certain regions in the brain they can retrieve this information and present it as your own memory. This is the conclusion that can be made judging by the influence they have been making on me with their psychotronic weapons, for example artificial thoughts, imagination, and mental torture.
I also often see highly disturbing pornographic images and videos, including highly disturbing pedophilia type of images and videos when I close my eyes.
You might guess that this person developed delusional disorder. This is a paranoid schizophrenia. But first of all, nobody develops paranoid schizophrenia in the 50s, in their 50s. This is, if you haven't developed it by 30, it's not. Then this technology exists. These nefarious programs exist. And it's hard to imagine for a person that why would you do something like this? But if you think about the new type of warfare,
It's cognitive warfare.
Exactly. It's a cognitive warfare. You don't have to kill people that you are fighting against. You can just degrade their brain. You can,
you alter their minds.
Yeah, alter their minds.
Personalities.
And it's like Chinese torture. I mean, okay, so
So this gets into creating Manchurian candidates, split personality, and information curtains, satanic ritual abuse. Okay, so they'll say we're the Russian government, we're the Chinese government, we're evil aliens, we're Satan's. So they'll say we're the V2K. So they'll say we're the Russian government, we're the Chinese government, we're evil aliens, we're Satan's, satanic ritual abuse. And I've heard all the stories. One guy believed it was some 14-year-old kid with an Xbox that lived next door. The trickery really is that great when you're under hypnosis that people will believe something other than a massive government could do this.
It's already being used. I mean,
if you talk to the victims, the TIs, one of the worst breakdowns, and it's pretty common. I think I can say the word simulated rape and forced orgasm.
You can say anything you want. This is the internet.
Okay. And so simulated orgasms and rape is extremely common, and especially violating for women. They complain about that torture breakdown the most.
You feel that you've been investments.
Curtains, satanic. So this gets in. So this gets into creating Manchurian candidates, split personality, and information curtains, satanic
Valuations must be stopped. Many people's lives at risk. They affect men, women, and children. Many have died already.
The Pentagon, the child porn on the Pentagon servers.
Come on,
bro. Supposedly they found more child porn on the Pentagon servers than they found on any servers.
Could there be
at high levels across a range of government agencies? Take a look at this, for instance, the National Security Agency, the National Reconnaissance Office, and the very secretive Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. Others also work
2-year-old and a 6-year-old. He was simply fired. One employee purchased sexually explicit videos of young girls filmed by their mothers. He resigned. One employee estimated that he had viewed up to 1,400 sexually abusive images of children while on agency assignments. Not sure what actions, if any, were taken by him. One contractor arranged for sex with an undercover FBI agent. I think that you mentioned that. Posing as a child, he had his contract revoked. One CIA staffer was charged with child sexual crimes, and the employee was also under investigation for mishandling classified material. But sexual crimes involving children, says BuzzFeed, including the viewing of images of abuse, have been uncovered at other agencies that handle sensitive information. In a November 2009 report, the Department of Defense acknowledged that dozens of Pentagon staff members or contractors had such images. In 2014, the Inspector General of the Intelligence Community found that 2 officials from the National Reconnaissance Office, which oversees America's spy satellites, acknowledged viewing images of child sexual abuse during polygraph examinations. This is so disturbing. At a symposium in 2016, Daniel Payne, a top Pentagon security official, said that when workers' computers were examined, the amount of child porn I see is just unbelievable. Is this something that is happening in the general evil?
Allie, we're told, and when I was put through recruitment into the intel community, you're put through polygraphs, you're put through a rigorous selection process. Why aren't these people weeded out? Why are so many pedophiles allowed to be given top-level security clearance? Remember, these aren't just people walking in off the street and saying, hey, can I get hired? Can I get a job? You're put through an extremely rigorous background check screening process. It's called an SSBI, single scope background investigation. There are people, they interview you, they interview your family, they interview your contacts, they go through your online footprint, they go through everything. So why is it that when they're going through these footprints, they're not checking, these digital footprints, they're not checking for so many pedophiles getting through their ranks? If it were up to me, you need to go into Congress, and Congress needs to launch a brand new church committee, number one, to talk about domestic surveillance operations, but number two, to ask the question, why are there so many pedophiles sitting behind
the CIA raping children and sexually assaulting children? And they're not being prosecuted? Where are you?
Has come under investigation for links to the proliferation of graphic material. Called Project Flickr, some 5,000 individuals have been identified as having subscriptions to child porn sites, including many DoD-affiliated persons. So this ongoing national investigation has now prompted the House to introduce a bipartisan bill that would help the DoD stop the use of its network to, quote, possess, procure, or produce child pornography. Joining us to discuss this, investigative journalist Ben Swan. So Ben, the Pentagon already takes measures to limit worker access to stuff like porn by rolling out what they call the Personal Electronic Device PED policy, where workers have to drop off their phones and lockers before entering their offices. All their online searches are accessible by security if or when needed. Their Wi-Fi access is monitored in digital security sweeps. So how is this happening?
Well, it's happening because even though there is a certain amount of limitation on access, those who are working in the Department of Defense, clearly it appears to be thousands of individuals in the Department of Defense, are finding ways around this, specifically by using the Department of Defense IP addresses and also apparently peer-to-peer sharing within the department's network. So this study that was done on this issue, and it is pretty horrifying, Manila, to consider this. It shows that the Department of Defense ranked 19th out of almost 3,000 networks in terms of peer-to-peer sharing of child pornography. That is absolutely incredible. This bill attempts to essentially say, look, we're not doing enough to stop it from coming in, but we're also not doing enough in the Department of Defense to go after those individuals who are being recognized as the ones who were perpetrating this.
So Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger is the co-author to this bill. She said this, quote, the notion that the Department of Defense's network and Pentagon-issued computers may be used to view, create, or circulate such horrifying images is a shameful disgrace and one we must fight head-on. Now, the fact that the Pentagon workers, be they civil or military or otherwise, already submit to a gauntlet of daily scrutiny just going in and out of work. Is it fair then to the tens of thousands who are completely innocent to further allow that much more government intrusion into their, their digital devices or the things that they're dealing with on their computers?
Well, remember that what's being talked about here is not an intrusion into someone's personal device or even their home. This is about saying Department of Defense computers are being misused to share, to spread, to access child pornography. And when you step into an office, whether it's a Department of Defense office or it's the offices at RT America, wherever you go into an office, you do not have the right to simply use the technology within that office space however you want. And you certainly don't have the right to use it in a criminal manner. So essentially, this bill is trying to
is a shameful disgrace, and one we must fight head-on, Spanberger said in a statement. According to child pornography watchdog Internet Crimes Against Children Child Online Protective Services, the Defense Department network consistently ranks in the top tier of Internet service providers for trafficking child pornography. It ranked 19th of nearly 3,000 networks surveyed in 2018. Meadows said the legislation.
Why are so many pedophiles allowed to be given top-level security clearance? Remember, these aren't just people walking in off the street.
People. His most famous experiment was with a bull. He implanted a bull with a radio frequency chip, and he could make a bull stop from charging by pressing a button. And that impressed everybody quite a bit.
Wow.
But that's using brain chips. And
where was he? Was he in the United States?
Yeah.
But you don't need chips anymore.
Okay, this is him with the bull.
Yeah, there he is.
Dr. Jose Delgado steps into the Spanish bull ring as a bold demonstration of his research.
A risky behavioral control demonstration.
Wow. And he was working with the government? He had a famous quote, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Let's see if you can bring up the quote. Mankind does not have a right to develop his own mind.
Austin, pull up his quote. So what was Delgado what did he do? Where was he working from? What was he working in one of the universities here?
Yes, he was working at Yale Medical School, and he would insert wires into people's brains. And, there's always two sides to the story.
Okay, here it is. Man does not have the right to develop his own mind. This kind of liberal orientation has great appeal. We must electrically control the brain. Someday, armies and generals will be in control by electrical stimulation of the brain.
And that was in the 60s, I believe.
Whoa. So that's heavy.
We've come a long way since.
Yeah, I mean, if people were openly talking about that in the 60s, where are we now? And where are other nations like China and Russia and Iran?
We boycotted recently like over 100 countries from doing companies in China because they were working on mind control technologies. So, it's very much out in the open, but it's just people don't want to recognize their soul, so to speak, can be touched. Their very ego, their sense of self can be altered. They're not in control of their own emotions. That means if you don't have free will or autonomy or choice, democracies don't exist. That means religions don't exist. That means a whole bunch of things. Markets can be shaped, moved up or down at will based on people's preferences. It's total domination of the world. That's how important and why it's kept so secret. I think it's the ultimate weapon, because if you can control the people with their fingers on nuclear weapons, you're one step ahead. So this is kind of the end game. Is full control of the human mind.
And at scale.
At scale, that's right, of the world.
Who has autism.
Couple of things. I kept getting toxic smells in my room.
I don't know what's happening in these rooms over here. It smells like paint. That's coming.
It's a strong paint.
It's very strong.
Nail polish? Can you smell that?
Yeah. That caused me to constantly have to open up my door to air out the room.
It smells like very strong, like it's very chemical.
Yeah. Your maintenance guy was also complicit in emitting toxic gas.